Hello, it's Wednesday, October 9th. It's pouring down rain outside, and there's no way I'm going to get any work on the bus today. I wanted to share the hinges I got on Amazon. These are seriously heavy-duty hinges, man. Exceeding my expectations. Let's see what the thickness is here. Just more than 1/8 of an inch thick. 185 thousandths of an inch thick. Okay, so that's 3/16. I think 187 is 3/16. So yeah, man, seriously heavy duty stainless steel, mildly magnetic, which means it's the good stuff. Even the bearings seem mildly magnetic. Got them on Amazon. They come in packages of 3 and packages of 1. 3 of these hinges would be strong enough to hold, but I bought 4 because, I mean, the hinges are strong enough for the weight of this door, but I don't know how strong the door is, you know, by these 4 screws at the top to take the pounding that this door is going to get. So I bought the 4th hinge. So I bought 1 package of 3 and 1 package of 1, and it came out to $68.60 for the hinges, which is a great price, man. I'm really happy with that. So here's my sample door piece with my 1/16 thick aluminum, my 1x2 2 each wood frame, and my 3/16 plywood for the inside. Now, if these were only 1/8 of an inch thick stainless, this would fit even easier because the leaf of the hinge would be the same thickness as the aluminum edge, right where my thumb is here. But as it is, it sticks out almost a 1/16 of an inch. Or I guess it is a 1/16. So I'm going to have to mortise the door, which is not a big deal for me. I've done that enough times. So I was experimenting with the Lowe's regular hinge. This was what I bought for a sample the other day, and I thought this was stainless, but I must have picked it up out of the wrong bin or something. This is just chrome plated steel. But I was using that as a template, whatever. And I had marked. This is a 4.5 inch hinge, by the way, which means it measures 4.5 both ways. Let's double check that just for fun, how close it is. Okay, so it's 4.5 minus 15 thousandths, which we don't care about. And same thing here, 4.5 minus about 15 or so thousandths. So it's 4.5 inches. Which is the size for heavy doors. All right, so anyway, what I was getting ready to show you is I drew that circle on there, and with the other hinge, that put me at a depth. Let's see if I can do this with one hand here. This is kind of hard. It put me at a depth where the edge of the hinge, the lower edge in your view right there, would be meeting the inner side of the aluminum right here. So what that would mean would be that I would have to cut a hole in here 4.5 inches and only go as deep as this material here, and then stop at the depth of the material on the bottom edge. I guess you got the idea. And if I were to do that, the hinge will just fit right in there, just perfectly. All right, it's exactly what we're trying to get done. And I am planning on adding 1 more screw right around here someplace. And that'll give me a 5th screw to hold. All right, because I can. You can see how much of the door is available for screws up here higher than the screw holes. So, I mean, the hinge is really designed to be installed, you know, like right around there. And you know what? Maybe I'll do that. It doesn't really matter where I do it. That was just my original layout right there. I could put 4 screws in it only right there and it'd be perfectly fine. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that. The advantage of doing that is it leaves space between the hinge pin and the door. So with the hinge closed, if you've got distance from the hinge pin center line to the edge of your door, when the door opens, it swings away from the door jamb, which will give us a little bit of extra space. Downside to that is when the door opens, it tends to get closer on the doorknob side. As it swings, it gets closer to the doorknob side of the door jamb quicker because of the leverage effect. That's what's going on here. So I think it's going to work out great. Really fabulous, fabulous hinges. They came with screws. The screw kits have 4 screws, or 8 I guess, 4 for each hinge, that are metal machine screws for going into metal door jambs, obviously. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 wood screws. Let's see what they gave me. I think they might have shorted me on screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be 8. Right? 4, 4. Oh no, it's 4 for each hinge. Right? Yeah. Okay. 4. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy some screws. These look like they might be number 12s. I bought some number 10 1 1/4 yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah, these are smaller. You can see the difference. It just falls in the hole there. And see if I can get one of these guys. Hold on a second here. Okay, these are the ones that came with the hinge, and those are the ones I bought yesterday. I didn't buy these screws for the hinge. I bought these actually to attach the oak door jamb parts to the bus. So I just bought a whole box because it was cheaper than buying individual ones. But anyway, we're jazzed up about having our new stuff here. Can't wait to get them installed. So look at that, man. Cuban sandwich made by a real Cuban. This is the real thing, buddy. Alright, so I'm going to eat and talk at the same time. So I drilled all these holes where I want them. I'm getting ready to, this is the so many 64ths, I forget. 1/64th less than an eighth, whatever that is. It's 140 thousandths of an inch diameter, which is the size of my sheet metal screws without the threads, with 10 thousandths clearance. The screws measure 130 thousandths, if all that means anything to you. Bottom line, screws will go. Just the threads have to cut. So what I'm noticing here is, you see, I got about 1/8 of an inch of wood back here, flush at the top, just about, and kind of flush there. So I want to see what's going on. Got my straight edge. to 6 foot. So we're a little bit bowed. You can see, right, there's a little bit of a gap at the top. We're touching in the middle. And we got a little bit of gap at the bottom. And that about accounts for pretty much how much we've got showing right there. Trying to figure out what to do here. Would like to make that look as nice as I can. I've got options. But here's the thing. When I make the door, whatever the door is, that's what I want the front of this to be. So this being the hinge side, if I knew the door was going to come out straight, I could make this straight and the door will match it. In all likelihood, the door will be straight because I'm putting that aluminum angle, the channel on the edge of it. So I should take the bow out of this. I got two ways of doing it. I could put the screw in the bottom, then take a clamp and just bend this thing straight, and then put the rest of the screws in. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I can just clamp it from here to there. It wouldn't take much to bow that. So let's give that a shot. I'm going to start by putting in one screw at the bottom, see how that goes. Okay, there we go. Straight within a 1/16 of an inch or less, and it hardly took anything to tighten this clamp, 2 fingers. So now we're going to go ahead and drill these holes the rest of the way into here, and then we're going to drill out these guys with that larger drill bit, which is right about 200 thousandths. I think it's 1/64 of an inch bigger than 3/16, whatever that comes out to be. All right. So that way we can get these screws in and double check our trueness here. We will know that we're nice and tight. The sticks that I've been putting across here have been a real pain in the butt. But this will be our boss. Then we'll work on the other side. Probably only going to leave the top screw in up there. So after the door is made, I'll be able to swing this thing slightly to meet the door. So for now anyway, we get this thing sized up really good. We'll be able to double check for the last time what the actual finished size of the door is going to be. Get all these things straight. And might even go ahead and mortise out the hinges. Okay, geez, it's after 5 o'clock. Been out here most of the day doing this. It's incredible how much time this takes. So it's in there. I got all the pieces cut. I had one extra thing to do that I kind of omitted. This top piece is a 1x4, 3.5 inches wide, that matches up with these extra 1x4s that we put here. So this gives me the ability to tweak the angles and the sizes as needed. And it turns out it was very important because if you look here, it's only, Jesus, like 9/16 of an inch thick on this side. I had to do an angle cut on this to get a 90 degree here. So this is impermanent, this 1x6 is impermanent, and the same on the other side. So now, so here's what we got. This ends up being the equivalent of a 2x4. It's two 1x4s. There's a 1/4 inch space all the way around. Dang, I just realized I messed up. Oh no, I didn't. That's right, never mind. Phew. Okay, forget I said that. There's a 1/4 inch space all the way around. And the 1/4 inch is going to be the 1/8 inch of aluminum plus an 1/8 inch of a space. That's the plan anyway. So if the door doesn't fit after I assemble it and put the aluminum on and all that stuff, I'll still be able to whittle down on these things if I have to, but I sure am going to try hard to not have to do that. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. So in this corner, for example, I'm going to drill me probably 4 holes in this outside piece, but not the piece in the back. And then on this side, there'll be 4 holes drilled in the piece of the back and not this side, so that way those can be assembled. And then I'm going to have to put some screws here so I can glue these together. Okay, Jesus. It's 6:45. It's taking me that long to do this. It's in. It's made. I had to make these little fingers to help me hold all this shit together while I put it together, if that makes any sense. All right, man, look at that. It's Sunday, October 13th, and it's about 10:30 in the morning, and I'm just now finally getting started. I went to Lowe's this morning and picked up my doorknob. It's a Schlage keyed entry light commercial. It was a default. I mean, I ordered one online, and the one that showed up wasn't the right piece. It was just, I don't know. I don't even need to get into that. And I had a hard time actually finding what I wanted, because nowhere does it say that this thing's made out of stainless. So I bought it as a default because it was the only choice I could find in Lowe's, and I wanted to get moving on this. So I bring it home. It doesn't say it's stainless anywhere on the box. Rugged all metal chassis, you know what I mean? So put a magnet on it. It's stainless. So I mean, the outer skin is stainless, and that's all I cared about. So this key should be the same cut, blank, I guess you could say, as my bolt lock on the rear. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like it. So I'll be able to get this thing rekeyed, as well as the bolt lock, my Schlage bolt lock, which was in that box. Where'd it go? Must be in the bedroom. I was taking some measurements. Anyway, the outer diameter of this is larger than the bolt lock. Where did I put that damn thing? So I sketched it out on here. Actually, sorry. This scratch mark on the outside is the size of the bolt lock, and it just makes it to the edge, which means nothing on this side. This is the sheet metal side, which is going to be 3/4 of an inch bigger, so it's like, hey, it's perfect. On the inside, this will be, it's not my original plan, but I'm just talking through this right now. This will be the edge of the opening for the glass. I had anticipated that, and adding an extra piece of 3/4 inch wood will give me more to work with here. And I was just doing some checking here to see if I in fact really needed to do that, and I do, because the doorknob is bigger than this, and the bezel of the doorknob will overhang the opening on the inside of the bus. So I definitely do need to add the 3/4 of an inch piece. Here's my drawing. I got a few of them. I just printed this out now just to have some references. I needed to know how high this cross brace is going. And here you could see the extra pieces of 3/4 inch. And you can see in the drawing how the upper door knob is larger. It overhangs the edge, and this one just meets it. So I do all my work in AutoCAD. It makes things so much easier to figure out all the challenges before you get started, and to make dimensions. It's the best thing, man. I tell you, I don't know what would be better. So yeah. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. This was actually quite difficult to get out of the bus. I was actually beating on it with a rubber hammer. Left some skid marks down there at the bottom from the rubber hammer. And the reason why it was so tough is there's a slight angle on the sides where it's tighter in the front. So pulling it out the front, you've got to overcome the dimension opening getting smaller. And on the bottom, it's tighter on the inside because the bottom step, you know, it leans down. So, I mean, that's like the kind of in a nutshell, everything I've been putting up with to try to get this thing to fit in there. But it definitely does fit in there with the extra 1/4 inch spacers, which I'll be taking off here pretty soon. So I got to go to work tonight, probably around, I'll probably leave the house around 8 o'clock or so. I got to get all the way down to Homestead early enough to go to sleep so I can get up at about 5 tomorrow. So I'm not gonna, I don't know, 10:30. I don't know how far I'm gonna get today. We'll see. But let me cut these cross braces. And I bought an extra piece of oak 1x4 that I'm gonna rip to be this size. The reason why I chose oak for that is because I'm anticipating the glass sweating on the inside. And if that's the case, it's going to have water running down to the bottom, and I want that bottom edge that the glass is going to be sitting on to be made out of the oak. So it was like $16, I think, for that piece of wood. Let's see. Where's my receipt at? Anyway, I think it was about $16, and I could have spent about $6, I guess, for a piece of clear pine. So, oh well, $10. Really happy about the doorknob. I'm going to rekey this thing. I want to do it myself. I don't like having people do this stuff for me. I watch them do it and it gives me damn heart palpitations watching them mess around in there. I've never taken apart one of these doorknobs before, so I'm not quite sure what the trick is. I see a little clip in there. They charge $5 at Lowe's to rekey it. Yeah, maybe I'll let them do it. I've rekeyed bolt. Oh, here's my bolt lock. I've rekeyed bolt locks before. It's pretty simple. I've got the kit for doing it. I got the kit on eBay. God, years and years and years ago. Should be up here someplace. There it is. This is the kit. This is a quick set brand kit. But I think it's got enough stuff in there to do Schlag as well. All you need is a round, no, I don't have it. There's a round plug that you've got to have, which I could make. Oh, here it is, right here. I think this is all you need to do a Schlag lock. This plug right here. When you pull the got to pull that little clip off down there. It's like a cert clip. Right there. You pull that off. I think you got to pop this little cap off. Then the whole top lock, what would you call that? The pin set, the round piece right there, slides out. And you slide this thing in there at the same time you're sliding that out, and that holds all the springs and pins from popping out. Because if they do pop out, it'll take you about an hour to put them back together. And once you've got this thing out, you put your key in there, and you adjust the length of the pins in this piece so that all the pins are flush with the outside diameter of this tumbler or whatever you call it. And then you slip it back in there, and there you go, it's rekeyed. It's pretty simple.